evening. Today is Wednesday, February 19, 2020. We are here for a town board meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Frank, can you please take the lead?
I would love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also, in keeping with our tradition of having faith-based people come and give an invocation, we have with us Reverend Jerry Halpin from the North Shore Christian Church of Riverhead. Welcome, Reverend.
Very tough name. Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
If you would like to and you're able to, if you'd stand with me.
Sure.
If not, that's fine. And we'll pray together. Dear God, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for our leaders and their wisdom and their courage to do the things that need to be done. God, we ask that you continue to guide them and direct them. Give them additional wisdom this evening as they hear words. Allow them to process it. And God, we ask as we do each time that we meet together, that you allow the journalist pens to be true. And that those that are here from the community to speak words of love and encouragement only to our elected leaders for the greatest town on the east end of Long Island. We ask all these things in your son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling us the greatest town.
We agree.
Okay, moving forward, can I have a first and second to close the town board meeting and open the CBA meeting?
Motion?
Second.
Diane, call the roll?
Sure. Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The town board meeting is closed and the CDA meeting is now open.
Okay, can I have a first and second to approve the January 22nd CDA minutes?
So moved.
Seconded?
Thank you.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
There are no CDA resolutions today scheduled for this evening. Does anyone want to speak on any issue from the audience? On CDA issues?
Royal Riverhead?
Yeah, this is on a CDA issues.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
The CDA is still in charge of the FCAL
Yes.
project, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So, having read the local paper recently, it's my understanding that there is potential that the section lot map may not be done in time, and it may run out of the 90-day period.
Okay,
Is that correct?
Is a possibility, but
Okay.
we're,
No, I'm just
we have
asking,
a
is
few
that
months ahead
correct?
of us.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would the town at that point be willing to consider using, either getting out of the contract at that point, or consider using it as some kind of,
leverage?
leverage to get back the lots that the public does not want considered as part of EPCAL? The
Those are
1,000
all
lots.
possibilities, and that's left up to legal. Okay, that's something that's worked out with the.
Well, as
legal-
the chief negotiator, I would assume it would be left up to the town supervisor and the town board.
Absolutely, we have the final say, but the legality has to be looked at, by the attorney.
Well, the
and-
legal would be dictated by the client, which is the town. So I would assume that they
We-
would do whatever you
we-
advise them to do.
We discuss and we
Okay.
work on the project. It's not a yes, it's not a no, it's not an
Okay.
open, it's not a close. This is a very sensitive issue with a lot of big,
But it'll be led by the town,
Proposed.
by the CDA and the town board and not the legal
and
department.
the final say would be yes, myself.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have a good evening. Anyone else wishing to discuss a CDA issue? Good evening. Can you state your name and your hamlet, please?
Hi, excuse me. My name is Todd Laley. I live in Sound Beach.
Okay,
In 2009, I suffered a below knee amputation, and I've been rehabilitating with a mountain bike and riding in the woods and enjoying the climb trails that exist on the island. A little time after that, I rode a pump track in Brooklyn. It's a paved bicycle track that's it's really exciting and interesting, and I've been campaigning to get one built because I had such success rehabbing and spending time with my kids. And I've noticed recently in the news, kids are riding wheelies and getting in trouble, and it's my feeling there's nowhere for them to go. So I've been working on this project for a few years now, and under the direction of Michael Beatty and Climb, he directed me towards Town of Riverhead because he mentioned the EPCAL project, and he said there may be some interest for a paved pump track like the one I've been proposing for the last few years.
okay. You have any suggestions on it?
Well, it's in contract for sale right now, so it could possibly be up to the new owner if they were interested in that. Or also there's a possibility, we have, I believe, 90 acres or so of recreation that the town will keep and maintain, and it might be something we can look at doing there.
Yeah, there's two clear plans, one to do a municipal project and one to do private for profit. And, it's gonna be an Olympic event this year. They're popping up all around the country. Red Bull's sponsoring them, and there's a circuit tour for racing. And
Could you repeat the name of it again?
well, the company that Velo Solutions, Velo
No,
Solutions.
but I mean, you had a name.
Oh, it's a pump track. It's a paved
track?
pump track. Yes.
Be interested to at least look at it if you want to forward some information or a letter to
To-
the town clerk and ask her to forward it to the whole town board.
Okay. Thank you.
That'd be great.
Thank you for your time.
Sounds
Thank you.
intriguing.
Thank you.
Good luck. Anyone else? Yes, would you please come up to the mic, state your name and your hamlet, please?
Hi, good evening. My
Good
name is Carol Lopinski, and I'm a resident of one of the Kingsley Park mobile homes. They recently sent out their new lease that was stipulated that it had to be signed and returned within 30 days. Jody Giglio spoke on it on Saturday at the meeting, and she was going to get further clarification from the state, because Kingsley is telling residents that they don't have to sign within 30 days, which, according to the state, is supposedly backed by 30 days, otherwise you lose your right to a lease.
This is Nancy.
So we're getting
Huh?
conflicting
CDA.
information, and I was hoping to get some sort of clarification.
Vivian,
Yeah.
unless you want
This
to-
is not a CDA issue. Ms. Giglio should be here very shortly, and you can readdress. No,
Yeah, at the end of the meeting,
You
you can
can-
come up and speak on any topic you like.
we're actually
Right
open.
now, it's just for the Community Development Agency topics.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry.
just
It's okay.
bear with us a little bit and we'll get you back up
Okay.
as soon as
Okay.
the meeting's over, okay? Thank
Anyone
you.
else, thank you, related to CDA issue?
I just want to add to the pump track proposal. My name is Callie, I'm from Mastic Beach, but I'm the president of Shoreham BMX, which is located in Shoreham. The pump track would be a very, very good aspect for the children, not just for adults rehabbing. BMX, which is bicycle motocross, the pump track will help them train. BMX is an Olympic sport.
Okay, ma'am, we are in a
Okay.
frame where we have to keep it by our charter, the discussion just on the
Okay.
CDA. In 2 minutes, I'm gonna open up for questions,
Okay.
in a few minutes, and then we'll, or statements, okay?
Okay,
This
that's
is
fine.
the
No,
Epcal
this
property.
was for the
This would be
Epcal property you're talking about?
talking about the
Right, that's
Epcal
CDA,
Oh,
property.
okay,
that's
so
fine.
you are
Yes,
adding it,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
adding to
Okay.
his
She just wanted
proposal
to
for the
add
pump
some-
track. I just
Got
want
it.
to add how important it is for this pump track for the children. It will help keep the children off the streets everywhere. I myself have 2 children and I myself ride bicycles. I travel out of state every weekend to ride pump tracks, just to get the kids off the streets. I am the president of the only racetrack on Long Island, and more than half of these children leave Long Island every weekend to ride a pump track. And it keeps them active, keeps them away from drugs, keeps them off the streets, and it's so important for this pump track. The Riverhead skate park that was here, I know since they downgraded it, all the children in the community was devastated. They all now travel to New Jersey, to upstate. It's the revenue that Long Island's losing, but it's so important to these kids and to get them off the streets. And it's college, there's now 6 colleges offering college education just for kids to ride their bicycles. And to be able to train in your own backyard, to ride a bicycle to go to college, I think it's so important if we can add this to this epic area, if you can put it on the docket for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on a CDA issue? Good evening, Mr.
McAuliffe. It's nice to see you again.
Long time don't see, as they
Well,
say.
I am asking a question. I'm sure you saw the story in Newsday
On the plume, yes?
today about the plume and the problem. My somewhat cursory reading of it is it's only talking about
That page.
the Bethpage. But my question is whether the same contamination problems, the materials that were used at the Bethpage plant were also used at the EPCAL area, and whether you have any awareness. I mean, the basic gist of the story is that evidence was kept quiet that had great consequence and is continuing to have great consequence. So my question is whether you know whether any kind of a similar problem may be under the surface, as it were, for EPCAL.
There is, have you watched the RAB meetings from the Navy in
I have not
Manorville?
been at those
Okay,
meetings, no.
I attended the last one, but I've been keeping up with them. There is a plume, and there's a lot of material on the internet, and the Navy is trying to mitigate it. They're doing testing. They did some testing early in the winter. They're going back when the ground unfreezes itself, and they're gonna do some more testing, and yeah, there is a plume there also. And the important thing is to follow and see which way it goes, and to keep track with it. It's not near us. That doesn't mean, a year or two that it's not gonna travel towards us. That's, anytime you have contaminants in the ground that was caused by the Navy, they're responsible to track it, to test it, to mitigate it, and to pay for whatever mitigation efforts need to be done.
So your feeling is we do know exactly what is in the EPCAL area, that it's not
in the article, you're holding the article. It's in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but this is about Bethpage. My
Yeah,
question is
similar-
whether,
Similar,
Yeah.
similar, chemicals, PFOS and it's PFOS, PFAS.
no, that I understand,
Those
but
are firefighting.
the question is, have we been better informed than people
But
up
the-
island were? That's my question, and,
I believe we are. I
Okay.
think the Navy,
Yeah.
they, a few weeks ago, in Manorville,
yeah, there was a meeting.
yeah, a pretty lengthy meeting, and they provided a lot of stats, status of their testing and some of the results, and, some places were above the, health levels and others weren't, and, that's their job, is to test and to give us whatever data, and there's a lot of people that are on top of it, including myself.
Okay. And is it your feeling that this information has any impact on the usability of the land at EPCAL, or is this simply another issue that has to be dealt with in another way?
To tie, it's a plume and it's a contaminated area, so, and it's a small area. I think it's 30-something acres, Tim?
I'm not sure.
It's like
I'm not sure what
30-something
size the
acres,
plume is.
and it's been contained, and actually, they still have ownership because they knew it was contaminated. So
Okay,
it
it's
wasn't
not
given
part
to
of the
us,
current
so it's not
discussion.
part of the,
Okay,
yes.
that's fine, thank you
Okay?
very much.
All right,
And just to answer your question though, John, I think we could ask more questions. I mean, in light of the article, I'm certainly interested to hear a little more from the Navy and, just to confirm. So I don't think it's a bad thing for us to inquire more.
I think John's comments are, well intended, because the articles, the whole point of the article was that there was probably some kind of a cover-up and that information was not being shared properly. So it's something we should definitely keep our eyes open for going forward.
and I would recommend, there'll be another RAB meeting, and, very, very informative.
Right, I'm gonna agree with Frank. I think we need to push a little harder and get more information.
Put yourself in the position of the people that live in the Manorville area that could possibly and/or are affected by this already. Things like this, I try to put myself in your shoes and say, okay, if I'm there at the house and I have questionable water, I have children, I have grandchildren, it's very concerning. It's a very serious matter, and it's something that is being presently worked on. There's gonna be some meetings tomorrow held on it, and we're gonna have to take some form of action and see what the best way we can clarify this and make it better for everybody involved. It's very serious.
I was out over the weekend, and thank you for bringing that up, Tim. I was out over the weekend visiting some of the locations and speaking. I see some of you are here. I didn't tell you to come here today, but there is some, we're gonna pass a resolution to look at the Manorville water hookup, a possibility. So we're gonna, Frank is the lead water person now?
Yeah, I'm the
He's
liaison on the water.
And we got
district.
together in the last couple of days, and with the council, we got together, and we are now going to, I was able to find money from the budget, and then we're gonna move forward with that, and Frank, you wanna give them a little more on it?
Yeah, so, we feel that we want to address the issues that are in front of our residents, and we feel we're the best water district to do so. We feel that Suffolk County Water Authority really doesn't have any reason to be in our water district. So what we want to do is to start the process moving forward with this mapping file.
Map it site?
Mapping plan or
Mapping plan.
mapping, yeah.
Map plan?
It's essentially a
Oh, site and plan.
feasibility
Okay.
feasibility
Mapping plan,
study, and it'll tell us all we want to know about moving forward, and then we'll take the information and we'll move on from there. But we're all
on board.
we're all on board about
It's
getting this
import-
done.
It's important to note that this problem's been going on for 20 years, and we want to keep the water district in Riverhead, and we don't want the county to take it over. And apparently there's a meeting tomorrow that we weren't invited to at the Suffolk County Water Department that we found out. And so we're trying to, I guess, play chess a little bit, seeing what the problem is. And we're gonna do everything, and I'm sure the councilman and the whole council agrees that we need to keep the Suffolk water district in Riverhead, not lose it. And what's happened in the past, people take control, it gets managed, and the prices go up tremendously. We have no control on the prices, and also the water quality. And we have the best water in Long Island, and thank you, board, and
Yeah, so not to
everybody
be labored, but
working.
we think we should be servicing the Riverhead residents, not the Suffolk County Water Authority. That's all it really comes down to.
That's it.
The feasibility study is just gonna give us some information so that we can process it and see how to go forward. So
Okay.
we're behind everybody
Well,
in this effort.
as everyone has said, this area, these are our residents, so, we all feel that that we should be the ones to protect them. This is a feasibility study, but this would be a heavy lift, but we would be hopeful that other levels of government would support us on this, because it's of utmost importance.
In other words, the conversation started.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and we did find the funds for it.
For the
Okay.
study.
Be clear, we found the funds for
Funds
the
for the
map and
study.
plans.
Oh, for the
but
map and plans,
Not for
okay.
the $3 million or whatever it's going to be.
I think we're talking about 54 houses,
Mhm.
approximately 54 houses in the, so it's something that can be done. And of course, everybody, we're gonna reach out, like she said, to the federal, officials and see if we can deal with funding and what's going on. But again, this is just a study
Mhm.
to see what's going on and what it takes for the hookup. Again, it's a conversation starting. Anybody, anything else? Go on.
Mm-mm.
I think we have another.
Oh,
Introduce yourself and tell us what hamlet you're in.
yeah, thank you.
My name is Barbara Blass, and I live in Jamesport. I do have a question on EPCAL, so I was actually going to save it for the town board meeting, but it's probably more appropriate during the CDA meeting. Just to be clear, any and all information I make reference to or quote in this statement has been obtained through FOIL requests to the New York State DEC, the Town Clerk's Office, and the Riverhead Planning Department. I've also read all the EPCAL documents on the town's website, as well as minutes from town proceedings. I recently requested and received a letter dated February 3rd, 2017 from the DEC to the town of Riverhead, which was referenced in the Notice of Incomplete Application to the town, dated September 17th, 2019. One of the many issues raised by Deputy Regional Permit Director George Hammerth, the author of the letter, was the lack of information on the aviation use at the site. He requested, quote, an accurate characterization of the proposed uses of the runways in order to evaluate the level of impact which can be expected to the grassland birds, end quote. The town had made references to the historic aviation uses of the runways, but didn't identify which historic uses or levels of uses were contemplated. Mr. Hammerth in that letter asks, quote, "Is it the aircraft types and use frequently associated with the skydiving operation or the testing of military jets conducted by Northrop Grumman?" To date, I have not seen any written replies to that question from the town. I know as recently as May of 2019, a member of the planning board, an involved agency, also inquired about the nature of the use of the runways. Is there anything that can be shared with the public at this time about the nature and intensity of aviation at EPCAL and the customary aviation operations?
You know, that's a very, very good question, but that answer is not possible right now. We don't know what's going in there. So, once you determine what type of businesses and, you know, the property is in contract right now. And
Yes.
it hasn't even been purchased yet. So we need to get to that point and people who are interested in building and working in EPCAL, then we identify the companies and we know what we have. We may never have aviation use there. We may not, but if at any point there's a company that needs, you know, to use the runways, then it is a process for that. And it starts here at Town Hall and it'll go all the way through, you know, DEC.
But respectfully, Madam Supervisor, it's the DEC that's asking the town for that information. So do we turn around and say you don't know and you think they are going to willingly accept that as an answer?
Oh, how do we tell them how we're gonna manage aircraft when we don't know if aircrafts are gonna be there? And it's okay if they ask, and we would have to respond in a, you know, in a fluid manner, explaining to them, we don't have this. At the present time, we're just going for a subdivision. That's it. There's nothing else that we are seeking. It's just a subdivision. And if we can get to that point, and if we close on the property, then we move forward and we see and we monitor what's going in there and if it's gonna have an impact.
And I don't want to belabor the point, and it's probably not the right time and place to do that, but it's not just the subdivision. All of those documents that we reviewed that came back from the DEC point to the fact that they need to know the development that's going in there in order for them to adequately assess Part 666 and Part 617.
Okay.
They needed that it's all listed out there, and you know, at some point, there are at least 3 development plans that have been floated, although representation had been made that said there were no development plans. There are at least 3 out there, and they all involve some sort of aviation use. And if the DEC seems to be firm in their request, this was multiple requests. These are many letters over a period of time, and I'm just wondering how you get beyond that point with them.
We explained to them it's a subdivision. Once we know what's going in there, you know, what the purchasers do with it, it's gotta go through all types of reviews, safeguard, secret review. That request is usually asked or done once a piece of property is purchased and you have a buyer for part of it. That's usually when you get that request. But that's something for us to work through. We don't know what's going in there. Can't say, you know, we can say how we're gonna safeguard the runways, how we're gonna de-ice them if there's an issue, and that's being worked on now. But as far as, maybe you'll have a company that's cargo and they, you know, it's once a month, you'll have one flight and nobody else is related to the runways.
Did you say de-icing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a process of what you do when you have that, yeah. And we're in the process of working with everything that's you know, concerning EPCAL, and we're working with the DC.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that this has always been an issue for me. I feel like we should have more information at this point. I felt like we should have had more information when I first got in office and we were talking about it, and it's still going on and we still don't have a lot of information. So as far as I'm concerned, I would like to know more. I would certainly like to know more about what's going there, and I think we need to answer the DEC on that.
Mhm.
Thank you, I appreciate your
Okay,
time.
have a good night.
Hi, Ellen Hoyle again, Riverhead. I just want to ask a question based on a comment you just made. You said, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have a, photographic memory. You said that, first off, EPCAL and the Gramesian family and 555 were qualified and eligible based on the use of the property as it was envisioned. Am I correct?
That's what's in the.
Okay. You just said that you don't know that there will even be aviation involved,
We don't
which
know-
would then be outside the scope of what they envisioned,
It's,
or
they're
what the
not
town
going outside
envisioned.
the scope. We don't know what contracts they're gonna make.
So you don't know if it's even going to involve aviation?
No. It's solely up to them to decide, maybe we're gonna,
Build a
Perfect.
casino?
a casino, you need state authority, and if you're gonna do it.
But I mean, it's an
most of them
example.
are
It's an
is
example.
Indian sovereign,
It's an
property
example,
that's,
that you could build a hotel, you could build
yeah.
anything outside of
within
aviation.
within the guidelines of what they have, and it's restrictive.
How
it's
is it a restrictive then in the aviation?
Well, what do you think aviation does? I don't understand.
Well, the scope of the qualified and eligible hearings and the determination were that it was going to be within the scope of some form of aviation and aviation
It
technology.
can, we don't know,
But you just said that you didn't even know if it was going to involve aviation, because the DEC
it
seems
doesn't
to
have to,
think.
it's not mandatory.
But I thought it was based on the
No,
qualified and eligible.
It's an optional use. The property is being subdivided.
Because we've
Like,
been,
it's not
we've
even
been being
purchased.
told all along that this
So-
was going to be an aviation project.
There's a possibility,
So it's just a possibility.
yes. And the owners decide, you have your property rights, and they decide if they want, what kind of
So
business
they
they
could build a
want.
hotel, they could
However,
build
they're
anything they
limited, and
want.
they can't disturb they can't disturb the land.
Okay, so
So-
as long as they don't disturb the land, they can build anything they want.
That's not true.
Then what, I'm confused now as to what's
Yeah,
true or
They,
not true.
you need to purchase they purchase the
The
property.
Yep,
They decide who they might wanna contract to come into EPCAL, and
Within-
it goes
does it-
through all the reviews.
but does it
it'll
have
go
to be
through
within a
public-
certain industry, or a certain type of industry?
It depends on what they come up with. They may decide that we want agriculture there. It's not aviation, and that's one of the best things that we want there, packaging agriculture, you know?
Okay,
So there are options. The property is not purchased, and it's more like, everybody's going way ahead.
well, no, I'm going backwards. I'm going to the qualified and eligible hearing in which it was determined whether or not they could meet the scope of the aviation technology, because they were in partnership with Luminati and they were going to develop aviation.
Illuminati is a non-entity
Yes,
right
I
now.
know, and
We
the
all know
qualified
that they
and
don't have
yes, but
voting
then
power.
they came back
Right.
and they said
Okay.
that.
And
yes,
eligible,
no, wait, hold on. They came back and they said that Luminati is not involved.
Mhm.
We're taking over. But they insisted that they were still going to do the aviation technology in some form or manner.
okay.
So now you're saying that they are under no obligation to stick to that aviation technology, even though that was the determination during the qualified and eligible hearing.
I don't understand the aviation component that you're bringing up, because if they decide that they're gonna move away from aviation, that might even help the environment better, okay?
Mhm.
And if they decide to go with, and the new thing now is agriculture packaging, and they decide to go down that road, we welcome it. And plus, whatever they decide.
No, I'm not saying that it's not
Yeah.
a great thing
Yeah,
if they
and
didn't do
whatever the-
aviation. But the reason they were found qualified and eligible, is my understanding, is because they were going to do some form of aviation technology, and that's why we gave them 1,600 acres.
Okay,
At, how much was it, $40 million?
okay.
$40 million. So now I'm confused as to if they're not doing the aviation technology, why are they still qualified and eligible, and why are we still giving them 1,600 acres at $40 million?
Well,
Because if they're gonna
qualified-
do agriculture, there's certainly not as many high-tech jobs.
Well, there'll be a lot of jobs, because it'll be farming and packaging and transport, and that was just an example. We're
I
not
get it,
saying
I
that they're
get it.
coming in.
I get it.
okay? So,
Ms. Hoyle, what you're saying is mostly correct. The qualified and eligible hearing was based upon their presentation of putting in an aviation technology type, business, or businesses on the EPCAL property. That has never changed.
Okay.
That has not changed.
So if they're now talking about not doing aviation technology.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I
So then if they,
didn't say
so
that.
if they're correct, so if you're correct, and
Everything
they
I'm-
are, and let's say they are doing aviation technology, then I don't understand, we're back to Barbara Blass's question of why can't we get an answer to the DEC as to what form or type of aviation industry are we talking about?
Because I believe they're still in the process of gathering companies to come here. So for them, so they can't, you can't put a business plan together if you don't have all of the pieces connected.
I get
And
that.
at this point in time, that's what they're doing.
Okay, so the incompleteness of the letter from the DEC, that is the 90-day schedule that we're up against. If you, the answer is because we don't know because they haven't given us an answer, then it's not our fault that the 90 days has run out because we still don't know what they're planning on doing.
The letter that she referenced was from 2017, so
Yes.
that's 3 years later.
Yes. It's still relevant because that's
Well,
what's
it
doing
was
the
relevant
90-day
when
cycle.
the past administration had it too.
No, you don't understand, Mr. Behrad. First off, I'm the one talking to you, not her.
Don't talk to me, talk to Tim. I wasn't talking to
First,
you.
I'm talking to the whole CDA, which you're a part of.
I see that.
Okay, you're not talking to her, you're talking to me.
She was making gestures.
Okay, so.
Please keep her down.
Anyway, so it goes back to whether or not it was 2017 or whatever. It was a letter from the DEC of an incompleteness of information that has set off this 90-day clock. If the incompleteness is that the DEC isn't getting the answer as to what form of aviation are you talking about, and you're saying that we can't give them the answer because they don't know what type of aviation they're doing, then I still don't understand why
I'm saying that they're recruiting businesses to come in
But if
to
they don't
that
recruit the
property.
businesses within the 90 days so that we can answer the DEC, why are we giving them an extension of time?
the property's not
Well,
purchased, you
give
can't
me-
put that forward.
You've got pieces you're all over the
No,
place.
I
here.
know, it's a pretty basic contract
Nothing
question.
kicked off the 90-day period.
No, I'm
That
gonna-
period has always been May 15th or May 17th of this year.
Yes, I get it.
That's never changed.
No, I understand, and it is a basic contract question, I'm an attorney. Okay, the question is that if you have 90 days to answer a letter from the DEC.
Then we're gonna
Okay.
answer it.
Then you're gonna answer it, but you're being told by the other party that you don't have the answer.
We'll
So
work with the
neither of
DEC.
the parties in the contract can answer the question to the DEC, so the 90 days is automatically going to run out.
We're gonna answer it.
How are you going to answer it?
Okay, we're gonna work on it.
Are we making up a question, an answer?
No, we're not making up questions, but I don't
So
think at the
because
moment.
you just said that you didn't know what form of aviation they're going to be putting
Okay.
in.
You know what, you've been up here for, what, 15, 20 minutes, and.
No, it
this-
hasn't been 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, it's,
Just to let you know, all we've been told so far by by CAT is that they wanna do aviation and technical, fields there. But we haven't had a lot of specifics. We were introduced to a few startup companies, but we haven't heard a lot yet, no.
Okay. So again, we still don't know the answer for the DEC.
we're
Okay,
working on it.
thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone on, CDA issues? Okay. Can I have a first and second to close the CDA meeting?
So moved?
Second?
Thank you. Diane, can you do the roll
Sure,
call?
yeah. Bayra,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
CDA meeting is closed and the town board meeting is now reopened.
Okay. Diane, do we have any agenda items?
Sure, yes, I'll just go right into correspondence. There was a letter from Craig Dahlgren, concerning the proposed solar project in Calverton. Two letters from John McCullough, both concerning the EPCAL property and Gramasian family. Under reports, the police department submitted their January 2020 monthly report. Tax receiver submitted their utility collection report, and that was $315,045.35. Tax receiver total tax collection to date as of February 12th, $87,521,325.01. Under applications, the East End Emerald Society is having their St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 28th in Jamesport.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any correspondence, reports, or applications?
And I'm all set.
Okay, yeah, we're good?
Yep.
Moving forward, there are no public hearings scheduled tonight. Before we go on to resolutions, though, does anyone have any comments based on the resolutions before us tonight?
I had a couple of questions. My name's Ellen Hoyle. I'm from Riverhead, New York. I had seen, on Resolution 2020-137 on the Cromer Avenue LLC, proposed liquid propane storage and distribution facility.
Which one's that?
Number 26.
Okay.
Okay. My question is, as when we were discussing solar farms last meeting and whatnot, it was indicated that there was a disinclination by some of the board members to do negative declarations on certain types of projects, and I'm wondering why this project dealing with liquid propane is being declared a type 1 project with a negative declaration.
Which project was this?
This is the one that we
Yeah.
discussed at work
Yeah.
session last week?
This 50 qualifications with Secra
Mm-hmm.
to be a type 1 action, to go ahead and have it neg-decked, pos-decked, I'm sorry. So it had to go further along in the process than what the solar had to do.
So,
No, it is a neg-deck, right?
It's a neg
It's a
deck.
neg
It
deck.
was based, it was.
that's what I'm confused
It was
about.
based on Jeff Murphy's.
Bob, do you want to answer the question?
I'm not familiar with the application, so I'm a little bit unsure, but are you?
I'm asking, why are we doing a
I believe-
negative
I-
declaration on this
I believe
project?
planning's looked at it, they've determined
They
that they did not come up with any significant findings that justified the POS deck to be entered into. They went through the secret process, they looked at it, as you know, the
Mhm.
fact that it's a certain type, whether it's type 1 or unlisted, there's a review. Planning made the review and recommended the neg deck, without knowing specific
Well-
concerns as to why it should be
Well,
POS
I'm
deck.
confused. This is my
What-
confusion.
I mean, what you're saying is there should be a blanket policy of POS decking,
No.
is what you're saying.
No.
But that's what you're insinuating.
No, that's not what I'm
Okay,
insinuating.
but you're not giving me any specific reasons why this should be
Because
POS
I'm letting
deck.
you talk.
Okay.
Okay. My confusion was that if it's a type 1 declaration and the planning board is saying that it should be negative declaration, right?
Type
Yes.
1, go ahead.
Okay. This is liquid propane. When you were dealing with just solar panels, you were saying that, and the planning board was saying it should be a positive declaration, you didn't take their advice.
That's not true.
So why are we now taking their advice when we're dealing with liquid propane?
Ellen, just to let you know, well, for me, one of the concerns with the, solar project was the size of it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a around 200-acre project.
Has
And
this been scaled
also-
back?
And also for the solar project, I was concerned about the cumulative effect of it. There were so
Okay.
many projects going into one area.
But to be clear, planning recommended a negative declaration, not positive.
That's
Correct.
right.
Right, yep.
I thought they had.
I'm saying,
No.
but you were saying some people were
Some-
against that, and I'm not against the neg deck on this one.
No, no, I'm not saying anybody was against, no, I'm not saying you were.
I'm just explaining that.
Okay. My other question had to do with, propositions 21, 22, and 23, I guess, are on your list, and 24. The appointment of members to various, the Veterans Advisory Committee and the Zoning Board of Appeals. In reading the resolutions, it appoints each person who says that they, had interest in the position. Is there any way I'm allowed to ask how many people had expressed interest in these positions, and how many were then filtered through? How many people applied for positions on the Zoning Board of Appeals?
I think you're talking about resolutions
135, 134, 33,
so
and
there we
32.
go.
I thought you guys were
135.
going by the 21, 22, and 23 numbers. I was trying to make it
Actually,
easy
look at
for
the
you.
resolution.
What number is it?
132 through 135.
So I can tell you, the Veterans Advisory Committee, it
Mm-hmm.
states up who is supposed to be sitting on that committee, and you need somebody from the American Legion, somebody from the
No, I get
VFW,
that.
somebody from,
My question was how many people had expressed interest in the position?
a few, quite a few, but the American Legion has to be the commander, so there's only
Yes.
one of those.
Mhm.
So one stepped down, and then we accepted his resignation, and we're appointing the new commander in his space. And
I'm just trying to get a feel for how many people applied for the position who were qualified.
well, there's only one person that can qualify for that position, because there's only one commander.
No, but I mean for all the positions, including
Well-
the zoning board of appeals.
It's,
The
it's,
CBA, we only got one applicant, right? We only got one resume and they were interviewed.
Then how are you appointing multiple members?
They're prior members and they,
No, it
expressed an
says appoints
interest.
new member, chairman, vice chairman. Are those all new positions?
No, they're not.
One is new.
So that it's a poor wording system.
Same person, people.
Yeah, the
It's appointing one new
ZBA
member, it's
Alan just-
reappointing a second, and then
Right.
it's redesignating the chairman and the vice chair.
Okay.
Yeah, actually on the ZBA, I'm gonna talk about that at the vote. That, I'm gonna wait till we get to the vote, but as Bob said, it is one new member, it's
Okay,
reappointing
'cause it looked like it
member,
was
and then
four
it's-
new- like
then it's
three new
appointing
members.
the chair and the co-chair.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
If it's confusing, it was, three of the four are continuing to serve.
Okay.
John McAuliffe from Rolling Woods in Riverhead. Attention to 2020-151 on the agreement with McLean Associates. I think this is the resolution that provides the money to do the mapping. And I'm a little curious about the process. My understanding, this was not presented during the work session to come to the board. And a member of the board on a radio show said that it existed, but it didn't show up to the public until yesterday. And I'm wondering if there's any proper procedure to get things on the agenda, whether there is something that separates resolutions that actually have come through the work session versus in some other fashion or agreed to be put on the agenda.
well, time is of the essence to get these surveys and these maps back to the DEC so we can get the
But
subdivision
wasn't that
approved.
true at the time of the work session?
Well, the town attorney gave it to us after the work session, and the town board agreed that it should go up for a vote, and that's why it's up for a vote.
Okay, so.
Actually, it was, John, it was circulated to the board,
Mhm.
and then,
After the work session.
after the work session, I think like at around 5 o'clock that day, and then it was added to the agenda. We
Okay.
didn't have it at the work session,
Right.
no.
Well, that's the question, if these things are so, I mean, it's a sort of general process question. Obviously, everything around
They
EPCAL
can
is
be
very
added if they're-
sensitive and
If they have, 3 signatures, they have
just-
to be ratified, and then they can be added.
and that's
It
all
happens
that's
all the time.
necessary on process.
We do that a lot, actually.
Okay.
And as much as we can, we put it up.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know,
understand, it
This is not a
happens.
common occurrence, and you know that, because
Right,
you
but
obviously
it
read
seems
it.
to me something that is
So-
of consequence, maybe needs to get the actual discussion and then go on the agenda earlier so people can.
I don't think it was purposely held off, I think that's just when it came to be, and then it was sent around.
It's the when
to
it
us.
came to be is the question, is whether,
Yep.
in procedural terms, when it came to be might.
Well, sometimes
be
that
earlier.
happens, they
Yeah,
email
okay,
something
all right,
around,
well,
and we'll
I
ratify
understand
it.
human nature and bureaucracy has problems, but in every institution, there's nothing different about this one, but I think it is, I don't wanna go into the substance of it because I think the whole process really needs to be reconsidered, but just, you will go ahead with moving forward this particular step and spending more money on a process which we think is fundamentally flawed. That's-
Good evening again, Barbara Blast, Jamesport. I do have one question on Resolution 2020-151. I'm wondering if the purchaser of the property is actually paying for those surveys.
That's the same one we were just talking about.
Yeah,
Bill.
it's the, I'm
Plaintiff.
sorry,
Okay.
it's
Put it
hiring of
away.
McLean for the amendments to the map.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's the
He's asking
resolution that's hiring McLean
the
Associates
applicant is
for
paying for the
the
survey.
amendments to the map, and I'm wondering if the
survey, but
purchaser
they're
is
paying for
paying for
No,
those
we are.
amendments.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have to complete the subdivision before we can sell the property, so it's our responsibility to give the DEC and the health department the information that they need so we can get the subdivision approved as per the contract.
I understand that, Councilwoman. I'm just asking, pursuant to the contract, it says that the purchaser is responsible for all maps and amendments and changes to maps required for the purchase of the property or any application and approval of the I could read you the paragraph or this, maybe the.
that's the job that they're completing. That's
No.
what it is expected of them.
It's expected of whom?
Of the company.
So they are going to be paying for McLean services
Well,
for
they're
this?
gonna give us maps. That's their service.
I guess I'm not understanding, and I apologize.
It's okay.
So McLean is paying for, the purchaser of the property is paying McLean's services that were itemized here.
I wasn't
Bob.
involved with this one, this was done by staff, so I don't know the nuances, and I don't wanna give you an answer that's incorrect.
Can I
Can I
just show
take it
you?
under
You-
advisement? I
right.
understand what you're saying, but I don't know the answer. I'm looking at the amendment, and the amendment's not clear. It's an agreement that's being made between the CDA and McLean. It's not indicating who's billing whom, or how it's getting paid, or whether we're getting reimbursed at closing, so I don't know the answer.
I'll just refer you to the paragraph
I-
13B3
Yeah,
in the
okay.
contract.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
if it-
all.
All right,
Thank you.
And when it says that they're responsible for paying for the maps,
okay.
then when we go to closing, I'm sure that our attorneys will get reimbursed for
Uh-oh.
the
Terrific,
laying out
that's
and
all.
the mapping of it.
That's all I was asking. Thank you very
Thank you
much. I
so much.
appreciate your time.
Where are we? Okay, anyone else? Okay, moving forward,
I'll call
Diane, can you please
They may
read the
never close.
resolutions?
I will. Resolution
close.
112.
They may walk away.
Yep. Okay, resolutions?
Who's first?
Do you wanna call the
I think
resolution?
it's, yeah, Resolution 112.
Stotsky Park Handball Court Project Number 71903 closure, so moved.
Seconded.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 113.
Stotsky Park Playground Project number 70169 closure. So moved.
Seconded?
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 114.
Stotsky Park Bleachers Project Number 72001 funding, so moved.
Move in second? I was
Okay.
late on that one.
That's okay, that's early. Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Aguirre, yes.
Okay.
You're reading
Re-
over here.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 115.
Budget transfer for buildings and grounds, so moved.
Second.
Move in seconded, please?
Bayrock.
Yes.
Trying to keep
Kent.
up with them.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 116.
Authorizes highway superintendent to purchase Oshkosh snow removal equipment, so moved. Oshkosh Begosh.
Oshkosh with babies.
Move in seconded, please?
Seconded.
Did somebody say second?
No,
Okay,
now it's
okay.
seconded.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 117.
Awards bid for marine unit boat and outboard motor maintenance and repair 2020 to 2021. So moved.
Seconded?
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 118.
Award rebid for electric motor repair replacement, including emergencies.
Move and second it, please.
Well, Asma said.
Oh,
Second.
Okay.
Second. Moved and seconded. Okay.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 119.
Accepts the retirement of a custodial worker 1. So moved.
Move and second, please.
I'll second.
Okay. Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yeah, and I want to thank Bee for her work for all these years in the town of Riverhead.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 120.
Accepts the retirement of a computer operator 2. So moved.
Seconded.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
I've had the pleasure of working with Lori, and she is such a talented young lady in our IT department, and she is so smart. The town of Riverhead, this is a tremendous loss for us, but we wish her well in her retirement and thank her for her service.
She basically
Yes.
built the whole IT section from the ground up over
Yeah.
the years that she's worked here. She's done a fantastic job, a wealth of information, and nothing but the best to her in the retirement.
I'm just gonna join in that everybody in town enjoys working with, Lori. I certainly appreciated her work in the few years I've been in here, and I wish her well in her retirement.
Okay, and I just still have Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a best of luck.
Okay. Resolution adopted. Resolution 121.
Appoints an assessment clerk. So moved.
Seconded?
Move it.
Okay, Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 122.
Amends resolution number 2020-58, reassigns the salary of a town board coordinator. So moved.
Second.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 123.
Sets the salaries of various recreation employees for the year 2020. So moved.
Second.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 124.
Set salaries for 2020 seasonal personnel for the Riverhead Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 125.
Authorizes purchasing agent to attend the Long Island, New York State Association of Municipal Purchasing Officials conference. So moved.
Seconded?
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Both places.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 126.
Approves extension of the agreement with Mark Conklin and authorizes the execution of a second amendment to the agreement between the town of Riverhead and Mark Conklin.
Second.
Move and second?
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 127.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a stipulation with Local 1000, AFSCME, AFL-CIO, Riverhead Unit. So moved.
Move and second?
Second.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Vote.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 128.
Authorizes the supervisor to sign a consultant professional services agreement with Brad Hammond. So moved.
Seconded.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Glad to have Brad Hammond helping us out in the interim, and we need to move forward on hiring a replacement. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 129.
Approves nunc-pro-tunc extension of the agreement between the town and Jeffrey Seaman, CEP, for services related to EPCAL 8-lot subdivision. So moved.
Seconded?
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 130.
Setting terms and conditions of employment of Deputy Supervisor Devin Higgins. So moved.
Second.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Right?
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 131.
Authorizes attendance at Fire Marshal International Association of Arson Investigators Conference. So moved.
Move in second?
Seconded.
Okay. Bayron.
Oh,
Yes.
Kent.
It was a long
Yes.
day.
I know.
Hubbard.
Very.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 132.
Appoints a member to the Veterans Advisory Committee. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please. Finally waking up.
Which one are we on here? 133?
132.
132, okay. Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes, this is the member of the American Legion. Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution
Great
adopted.
choice.
Resolution 133.
If I can get there.
We just do that.
Oh,
Okay.
really? It's late? Okay.
It's Jody.
It's up for grabs.
Appoints member to the Veterans Advisory Committee. So moved.
Seconded?
Bayron.
Vote please.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 135.
134.
Okay.
It's late for everyone.
Appoints member to the Veterans Advisory Committee. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 135.
Reappoints member, appoints new member, chairman and vice chairman to the Town Riverhead Zoning Board of Appeals. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
I wanted to talk a minute about this. I've spoken in, a couple times before that I think the positions paid boards such as the ZBA and the planning board, I think that, when we put new people on, I feel that we should put the word out, maybe have a group of nonpartisan people that interview, and, use that as a selection process. I don't have anything against the new person that's being hired here, but I don't know him, I've never met him. However, I have, because we don't have a policy in place yet, in the past, I voted for it, and I wanna be consistent, so today I'm going to abstain from this vote, but moving forward, if we appoint people without going through the proper process, then I will be voting no.
Okay.
So I abstain.
Okay. Hubbard.
We went through a proper process, but I vote yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
And I did interview the individual, and we did get his resume, and he was the only person that applied at the moment, and yes, maybe we can tweak it if we need in the future. However, I think that we went through the process, and I'm gonna vote yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 136.
Town Board of the Town of Riverhead hereby consents to West Hampton Beach Village Justice Martha Rogers serving as Justice to the East End Veterans Court. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 137.
Reclassifies action as type 1, claims lead agency status, and issues a negative declaration pursuant to SECRA for the special permit and site plan application known as 48 Cromer LLC for a proposed liquid propane storage and distribution facility and industrial facility with accessory office located at 48 Cromer Avenue, identified as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-119-1-32.1. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 138.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice for a public hearing for the special permit application known as 48 Cromer LLC on a parcel located at 48 Cromer Avenue, Riverhead, New York, also identified as Suffolk County Map Number 600-119-1-32.1. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayron.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 139.
Assumes lead agency, issues secret determination, and authorizes the release of termination of easement which encumbers parcels affected by recorded easement and covenants made by Wading River Manor Associates. So moved.
I'll second.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
I've spoken about this a couple times at work session, and I'm not in favor of this, I vote no.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
The easement location where it's located now is not serving anybody because the easement goes right through the McDonald's on the corner of Wading River Road and 25A. So when that project was built, the building is in the easement, so the roadway could never be created there. So, and Bernie Mae Farm is right there. There's no intentions of that property ever getting developed. So how the planning department staff has recommended that we do this is through cross-access easements, as we have on Route 58, where you can get from one shopping center to another through an internal roadway. Otherwise, how this was originally planned, it would just be a bypass, a parallel to 25A, and people would be racing through parallel to make the turn to head south on Wading River Road. So I support planning staff's recommendations, and we've been listening to those recommendations for 10 years, and I'm glad it's finally to the table, and I will vote yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 140.
Ratify supplemental site plan resolution regarding Peconic Bay Medical Center. So moved.
Vote please.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 141.
Amends Resolution 163-2018, Peconic Care, AKA Wellbridge. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 142.
Approve special event application of the New York Region Sports Car Club of America solo driving event. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 143.
Approves Chapter 255 Special Event Application, North Fork Event Company, Inc., North meets South Food and Drink Festival, June 6, 2020, and June 7, 2020. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Can't wait. Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 144.
Authorizes supervisor to execute agreement with Riverhead Lacrosse Club Incorporated for referee umpire services for Town of Riverhead Police Athletic League, girls grades K through 8 and boys grades K through 3 lacrosse program for the 2020 calendar year. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 145.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Suffolk Youth Lacrosse officials for referee and umpire services for Town of Riverhead Police Athletic League boys lacrosse program, grades 4 through 8, for the 2020 calendar year. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 146.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a musical works license agreement with SCSAC LLC. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 147.
Authorizes settlement of legal action by Francis Heavey against the Town of Riverhead. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 148.
Authorizes supervisor to execute property access agreement with Altice USA Incorporated, DBA CSC Acquisition New York Incorporated. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 149.
Authorizes the removal of fixed assets. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 150.
Authorizes the removal of fixed assets. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 151.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an addendum to an agreement with L.K. McLean Associates P.C. So moved.
Second?
Vote, please.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 152.
Authorizes preparation of map and plan pursuant to town law for extension of the Riverhead Water District to serve town residents and businesses south of the former Grumman War Production. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Bayrock.
Yes, this is what we were speaking about earlier. This is important for our residents, and yes, say yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Congratulations, Kelly. Absolutely.
Aguirre.
Absolutely. It's about time, and we hope to have good results from this. This is the beginning, the conversation starting.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 153.
Pays the bills. So
Yes,
moved.
can we have a first and second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, to pay the bills, good.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Yes.
Giglio.
Went out of order.
Aguirre.
Yes.
And resolution adopted.
Okay, I think we're done. It's been a long day, and we're back here at 10 o'clock for works.
You have to open it up to the public.
Oh. Does anyone from the public have any open comments? No?
Yeah.
Do, okay, come on up.
Yes, and we have the.
Yeah, you wanna come up to the mic, please?
Thought you were out of here that fast. Hey, hello, I'm Dr. Turchin, Bating Hollow, Calverton, Calverton Civic President. It's 12 after 7. We'll be done in 30 seconds. I want to thank you very much for the resolution to help the folks south of Grumman Boulevard with the water. As it's noted from Kelly McClinchy, she's been through 3 different supervisors requesting help, and it is with heartfelt thanks to this board for voting today on the resolution. So thank you very much. I think that was less than 30 seconds.
Hello, welcome back.
Again, yes. Again, my question was, I live in the Kingsley Mobile Home Park. As you know, Jody, we got a statement for 30-day return of the lease.
Yes.
Okay, my problem is, my husband passed away last year.
Sorry.
This year, the lease came in his name only. I was left off the lease. I had to take the lease back to the office. They said they would fix it and give it back to me. That was 6 days ago.
Okay.
So.
Call me and I'll get Norm on a conference call with us and we'll get it cleaned up right away.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn?
No, this is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see anybody.
It's 4 hours. It's gonna be. They didn't finish 10 to 6.
Barbara Blass, Jamesport. Just to address a comment that was made about the timeliness of a letter that I read or referenced from 2017. To put it in context, it was not an old letter. When the application goes to the DEC for the approval of the subdivision, what you're doing now, it's a Part 66 permit, and the notice of incomplete application for that permit referenced the questions and issues raised in the 2017 letter. That's why it's timely, and it's in that context that I wanted everyone to understand. It's not old, it's just that they've been asking for those questions, they've been asking those questions during the span of 3 years, and it comes under missing details identified and not addressed during the EIS process, which continue to go unaddressed in the draft permit application. That's the context in which I brought up the 2017 letter. Thank
Noted.
you very much.
Have a good evening. You wanna close? All right, anyone else? Seeing no one, we're gonna, first and second to close this meeting? Anyone?
So moved. Second.
Everybody's so tired. All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
So.